The only way when you are already kind of flirting with bottom, when you hit rock bottom, the only way is but up. I mean, think about it. They pushed the price from 72, and all along the way it was bouncing back up. 50 went back down to 30, went back up to 48, went back down to 28, went back down to 35, et cetera, et cetera. And now we are sitting around the tens. Now the thing is, people are saying, and by people I mean who, are calling on this to go back to $1. So even if it goes back to $0, which is impossible because going back to $1 or $0 means AMC is fighting bankruptcy and AMC is disappearing from the face of the earth, which I don't think we are even somehow close to that scenario. Why? Because the company has cash on hand. The company is still in business. The company has growth potential, and the company is showing signs of strong recovery and being a solid company. All right. We all knew that. But what people might tend to forget sometimes, because it's really difficult to look at the bigger picture when you are looking at your portfolio and you're losing money minute after minute, day after day, week after week, month after month, without any specific reason. I mean, you're like, I can go insane because what they do is, it's criminal. All right. They play with your, emotions and your stress levels, etc., etc. But if you pay attention a little bit with what is happening behind the scenes and looking at the bigger picture by stepping up, by taking a little bit of height, here's what you can see. It doesn't matter right now where this price is going because we already know what the issue is here, all right? But what is really important is kind of the message I wanted to convey to you guys is they are kind of stuck between, the stone, the hammer, and whatever, because either way, they already, the short sellers are already back. They already have their back against the wall, and the writings are already there on the wall for everybody to see. But they feel like, they still have a little bit of margin, wiggle room to play here with in order to maybe buy their way out of it. But usually, really, whether AMC goes back to $5, it's going to be so scooped up. Do you think AMC going back down to 5 is going to stay there for a long time? You can actually, thinking about it, will you let AMC hit $5 without scooping a little bit more shares? Because we know that it cannot stay there for a long time, because either whales, whether they're coming from institutional space or retail space, because they do exist, people with a lot of money, which can actually scoop this up because they know, at least let me ride this back to maybe just $12 and then let FOMO and the mechanics of the stock market do the rest. So that's one. They're stuck on that one. But on the other hand as well, they're stuck because if they let it rip, they can cover. Because the time to cover, it's now. If they want to get out with a free pass and to minimize, damage losses, they have to cover when it's still in the tens. Because literally 6 weeks ago, this was still around 28, 25, and then 6 months ago, this was around 50. We're talking about 5x here. All right. So with everything else happening in the market, it's impossible for this not to do what it's supposed to do, because at some point they will have to let it run. They will have to let it run. That's what I'm saying. The only way when you hit rock bottom is but up, because this market, it's not going to remain indefinitely in this kind of uncertainty. 6 months later, we're going to look back at this and people will start laughing because they will see, why was I panicking? Why didn't I buy the dip? So it's always easy to look back, but now is the time, now is the time to get your eyes on the bigger picture.